January 2000. Michael Wallace died suddenly at age 38. Doctors said it was a heart attack. But 7 years later, when Stacey Castor's second husband, David, also died of an apparent suicide by antifreeze, police exhumed Michael's body and found antifreeze crystals in his organs, proving he was poisoned too. Then, in September 2007, Stacey's daughter Ashley nearly died when her mother drugged her with crushed pills and vodka, leaving behind a fake suicide note confessing to both murders and spelling antifreeze as antifree, the same way Stacey always said it. She was convicted of murdering one husband, attempting to murder her daughter, and suspected of killing her first husband. The Black Widow died in prison in 2016. January 11, 2000. Michael Wallace, age 38, died suddenly at his home in Clay, New York. His wife, Stacey, and their two young daughters, Ashley, age 11, and Bree, age 9, were devastated. Doctors diagnosed the cause of death as a heart attack. Michael was buried and life went on. But 7 years later, investigators would discover that Michael's death was no heart attack. It was murder by antifreeze poisoning. Stacey Castor seemed, to everyone who knew her, to deeply love her first husband. She appeared to be a devoted mother to Ashley and Bree. Life was hard as a single mother, but Stacey carried on. Then, in 2001, she met David Castor when she went to work as a secretary at his heating and air conditioning company. David was 48, a successful businessman and avid outdoorsman. He was divorced, with a son from his previous marriage. Over time, David and Stacey fell in love and married. Ashley and Bree grew close to their likable, outdoorsy stepdad. The family seemed happy. But on August 22, 2005, just 5 years after Michael Wallace's death, tragedy struck again. David Castor was found dead in bed at the couple's Liverpool, New York, home. It was a Monday morning. Stacey called 911. David, age 48, was found naked and unresponsive in the couple's vomit-covered bed. On a bedside table, there was a glass filled with a green liquid. On the floor, a jug of antifreeze. It appeared to be a suicide by antifreeze poisoning. Sergeant Michael Norton of the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office told Oxygen that detectives were concerned. There was no suicide note. Would David, a hunter who kept a gun under his bed, really choose poison to end his life? At David's funeral, detectives got a shocking wake-up call. At the cemetery, David's headstone was placed adjacent to Michael Wallace's gravesite. Stacey had buried both husbands next to each other. Detectives began asking questions. Was Stacey Castor the victim of terrible luck, or was there something more sinister? Physical evidence raised more red flags. A turkey baster was found in the kitchen garbage with traces of antifreeze and David's DNA. Stacey's fingerprints alone were on the glass of antifreeze found next to David's body, placed in such a way that it looked like someone held the glass from the bottom. In September 2007, authorities obtained permission to exhume Michael Wallace's body. The exhumation was carried out in secret. Stacey's movements were monitored to ensure she knew nothing. When the casket reached the medical examiner, crystals were found in Michael's organs, consistent with antifreeze poisoning. District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick said, "The truth can stay buried in the ground for years." Detectives also learned that 3 months before he died, Michael told his doctor he felt drunk, despite not drinking alcohol, a classic symptom of antifreeze poisoning. Police now believed they had a double homicide. Stacey Castor likely killed both her husbands. But detectives needed to move carefully. As they built their case, Stacey panicked. On September 12, 2007, Ashley Wallace was attending her first day of college when 2 investigators arrived to tell her that her father had died of antifreeze poisoning. Ashley was shaken and called her mother. Police wiretaps recorded Stacey asking her daughter detailed questions about her conversations with detectives. Stacey suggested they have a drink together, saying they'd had a hard week. Ashley recalled her mom telling her, "We've had a rough week. Let's just get drunk." Ashley later said, "What kind of teenager wouldn't think that was awesome? Your parent just gave you permission to drink." That evening, Ashley drank a beverage mixed by her mother. She passed out and ended up in her bedroom. The next day, she woke up with a hangover, went to school, and returned home. That evening, Stacey offered another drink. Ashley initially refused, saying it tasted nasty, but she eventually drank it. 17 hours later, on September 14th, Ashley's younger sister Bree found her unresponsive in bed. Bree demanded help, and Stacey called 911. When EMTs arrived, they found Ashley 15 minutes from death, according to Fitzpatrick. Next to Ashley was a typed 750-word suicide note, confessing to killing both Michael Wallace and David Castor. The note rambled without punctuation. It read, "None was ever supposed to know, but now they do, and they think you did it, but you didn't know it was me." When Ashley recovered in the hospital, detectives asked her about the suicide attempt. Ashley told them she had no idea what they were talking about. "I did not kill my father," she said. "I did not kill my stepdad. I did not try to kill myself. You need to talk to my mom for answers." Investigators noticed something crucial. The word antifreeze was spelled antifree 4 times, the same way Stacey pronounced it. Computer forensics later revealed the note was typed on the computer in Stacey's home, while Ashley was at school. Stacey wrote 2 drafts. Prosecutors argued that, when investigators closed in, Stacey decided to kill her daughter, making it look like a suicide and framing Ashley for killing both men. They said Stacey knocked Ashley out with sleeping pills, then fed her vodka and crushed medication over a 17-hour period. On September 14, 2007, the same day Ashley was found comatose, Stacey Castor was arrested at the hospital. She was charged with the murder of David Castor, attempted murder of Ashley Wallace, and forging David's will. The trial began in January 2009. Both Ashley Wallace and Stacey Castor took the stand. Ashley testified, referring to her mother as Stacey. District Attorney Fitzpatrick said, "I can't imagine my own flesh and blood saying, 'You tried to kill me,' and not having a reaction." Stacey's defense argued that Ashley killed her father at age 12 because he spanked her, and that she murdered her stepfather as well, then attempted suicide out of guilt. But prosecutors presented overwhelming forensic evidence. The jury deliberated for 16 hours over 4 days. On February 5, 2009, they found Stacey Castor guilty of second-degree murder for killing David Castor, guilty of attempted second-degree murder for poisoning Ashley, and guilty of forging David's will. At sentencing, Judge Joseph Fahey delivered a blistering statement. "In my 34 years in the criminal justice system," he said, "I have seen serial killers, contract killers, killers of every variety and stripe. But I have to say, Mrs. Castor, you are in a class all by yourself." Stacey Castor was sentenced to 51 years to life in prison. Stacey died in prison on June 11, 2016, at age 48, the same age David Castor was when she poisoned him. She maintained her innocence until the end.